I want to give a thank you to Henry Porter, who asked me this. He asked me this before, or something like it. My top 10 jazz albums. I'm like, wow, cool, cool idea. Um, okay, I'll have to say that I like various different jazz stuff that meets my criteria. Like, if it's a traditional album that everybody likes and I like it too, then I like it. If it's something that not a lot of people know about, but I like it, I like it. So I don't have any ranking as far as number one or number 10, but I'll give you the answers according to what I think of at the moment. First, I have to give immense credit to the album by Chick Corea and Gary Burton called Crystal Silence. That's on ECM Records. I might not remember the year that an album came out, so I'm not necessarily going to give that. But I like Chick Corea and I like Gary Burton, and together that album was fantastic. The second one, Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. Who would not think of that? I think it's a really good album, and I can listen to any song from it over and over again and never get tired of it. So that's a really good album. Another one that I really, really like a lot is Dave Liebman's album Lookout Farm. He's done some other albums that are really quite good too. This was on ECM. And so, yeah. Miles Davis was on Columbia. And Dave Liebman is on ECM. And it's quite a good album. There's one song where the female vocalist kind of has this odd sort of vocalization tone to her singing, which makes the music sound a little bit eerier than it needs to. But that's just like a technical thing. The music to all of the songs are top notch and really, really good. Now, okay, number four, Mountain in the Clouds by Miroslav Vitus. It originally was called Infinite Search, but then they remixed it and called it Mountain in the Clouds and added an extra song. And that's the version that I think is really great. So that album, I have to say, I give a total right on to. Okay, let's see. The fifth album would be Conference of the Birds by Dave Holland. That album is magnificent. And that's an album that is really, really quite great. So there you go. I might repeat a few names here. So The next one would be Chick Corea's album, Return to Forever. That's with the Seagull. That's not the group Return to Forever. He later did a group with Stanley Clarke and Flora Purim, and at first Airto Moreira, and then later switched to Lenny White on drums. But that's the group. But the album where Flora Purim was on and Airto Moreira, but it wasn't a group at that time, it was a solo album by Chick Corea. It's just marvelous. And now I'll have to give something to Cal Tjader. I'll have to say any of the albums that he did back in the 60s that were the Cuban or Mambo albums, I'll say Mambo with Tjader, even though I don't remember hearing that particular one much. But the albums that he did were so good in the Mambo and the Cuban realm. I can't remember the Cuban album that I really, really like a lot, but I'm picking Mambo with Tjader, and that's Tjader, Tjader. That's an album I think you need to hear. Okay, now I would have to say I'm going to pick give me a quick moment. Oh, Stanley Turrentine, Salt Song. Fantastic album. You need to hear that. It is the album that whenever I feel a little bit out of sorts and I need to hear something to make me grounded again, the first song, Gibraltar, which is a song by Freddie Hubbard, but the way Stanley Turrentine does it, it's just incredible. It needs to be heard. The whole album is fantastic. It needs to be heard. And then for Milt Jackson, his album Sunflower. That album, great album. He was in the Modern Jazz Quartet, and it's just great. And then I would have to say, the last album would be John Lewis, and that would be called The Original Sin. It's either under John Lewis's name or the Modern Jazz Quartet, because he did albums with them that were similar. But I'm thinking this is a John Lewis solo album, and you need to hear John Lewis. So, John Lewis, The Original Sin. Great album. I will give you two also rans, just because I want to give you two more in case I did not give you 10 right now. Alright. Listen to the Cal Tjader album that I know that I've heard recently, and that's Amazonas. That's more of a fusion album, kind of jazz rock, but still really good. And then the last one I'll pick will be. Give me a quick moment. How about the album by the Jan Hammer Group called Oh Yeah? That's more of a jazz fusion album too, but that's really quite good. If you can find that, that's a good album to hear. Okay? So there you go, and thank you, Henry, and I hope that this list might satisfy some people. Okay, take care. Bye.